from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
I don't vandalize my non-property. Not at all. Leave me alone.
It's a heated and polarized election, and people in the area say they're targets of vandalism for supporting their candidate. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Less than 2 weeks out from Election Day, many people have campaign signs out on their yard. One Fargo homeowner has a message to vandals and people out there upset about their campaign signs.
Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop has our exclusive story.
I think more people come through here than just people that live in here.
Andrew Peterson and his family live at a busy corner in South Fargo, right off of 25th Street South. He says 28 signs he had displayed supporting the Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson were taken.
They were taken in haste because some of the stakes that were left in the ground were mangled.
Peterson says it was the second vandalism incident that happened in less than 2 weeks, and he wasn't going to let the vandals win. So he decided to put up 50 more signs in support of Gary Johnson.
They left the one for Marty Riskey and the one for Jack Seaman on the fence.
In addition to putting up the 50 more signs, Peterson put up a message for the vandals and thieves saying he's watching them. He also urges them to find a candidate that they support so they feel no need to tear down others.
Political climate, everything it's just so filled with animosity, and I think it's the wrong way to go about it. If you really like your person, if you really stand by your person, build them up. You know, you watch these debates and they're gross.
The signs have gotten the attention of people, with numerous drivers slowing down to read them. But Peterson says his message is more for the vandals.
You're not going to beat me. I support this man. I support this man 100%. And, well, you know what? By golly, this is my property. And I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And if I have access to more signs, I'll put up 50 more.
In Fargo, Ashley Bishop, Valley News Live.
Fargo police say they've been taking calls about campaign signs being taken or damaged. In the city of Fargo, you don't need a permit for political or garage sale signs, but they must be on private property. They can be placed up to 14 days and cannot be on the boulevard or other city right-of-ways. Now, due to the increased number of complaints about signs in the right-of-way, the city of Fargo is enforcing that rule and will confiscate signs in forbidden locations. We turn to breaking news now, where a search is underway after a canoe was tipped in the Leech Lake area. Cass County Sheriff Tom Birch says several agencies are searching for a missing 66-year-old man from Federal Dam, Minnesota. He was first called in around 7 o'clock last night. The overturned canoe was found on the east side of Leech Lake. Firefighters, a dive team, and the Minnesota DNR are helping law enforcement. Give them a call if you know anything.
It was a heart-stopping morning for one South Fargo family. Their toddler wandered off into the cold. We had the only crew following this story, police pulling away as we arrived. They checked to see if the boy lived at a nearby apartment building and a senior living community. By that time, a 911 call came in that the toddler was missing. Police were able to reunite Devin Walker and his terrified parents.
I mean, it's a blessing to have people like that in your neighborhood that's, concerned.
We're going to try to go to church. We're going to definitely go to church. I think he's working on us.
Police say there will not be charges in this situation.
We've uncovered some amazing numbers regarding the student population in school districts across the Red River Valley. Statistics show that hundreds of Valley students are homeless. However, the numbers are a bit misleading. Now, according to the state and federal reporting standards, last year the Fargo School District reported 231 homeless students. In Grand Forks, 181 homeless students, and so far this year, 72 homeless students in the Crookston School District. However, school officials say there are several factors that define who's classified as a homeless student.
This would include kids that may be staying with a grandparent, with an aunt, with an uncle, in a blended family. They might have moved from a mom to a dad or vice versa.
The homeless student statistic can be used by individual school districts to receive more state and federal funding.
The rain moved on, but we're still putting up with gloomy and cool conditions. Let's find out from Hutch if there's a silver lining in tonight's forecast. Hutch?
Well, not really. Silver lining in that we'll see a lot of silver clouds continuing across the valley for much of the night. There is some clearing out over the central Dakotas, but another batch of clouds racing in on the footsteps of the One's exiting. Rain showers have exited, but not before leaving considerable rainfall through southeast North Dakota. Rainfall totals up to an inch to 2.5 inches estimated across the southern valley. Lesser amounts up north. Fergus Falls, 1.17 inches of rain, 1.67 in Lisbon, while Brampton picking up 2.65 inches as we went through the wet and soggy conditions. It does look like it will be gray with a south breeze continuing and slowly falling temperatures tonight. I'll have details on some golden sunshine in the forecast. We'll spell it all out in a few moments.
All right, thank you, Hutch. And remember, you can stay up to date on the weather conditions where you are anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just download the Storm Team Weather app to get the latest weather conditions and even follow the radar live. Search VNL Weather in the App Store.
Cass County Sheriff Paul Laney is on the front lines where officers and Dakota Access Pipeline protesters are at a standoff. Protesters are trying to block construction of the Dakota Access oil pipeline. They've said they believe law enforcement will soon take action to remove them. Today, the Morton County Sheriff and a National Guard spokesperson met with demonstrators at the barricade. Officers say they don't want any trouble, but they pointed out that the protesters are breaking the law by trespassing on Energy Transfer Partner land. The protesters, meanwhile, have claimed the land using the right of eminent domain because of an 1851 treaty. Sheriff Laney says that they have the capability of forcibly removing activists, but hoped that it doesn't come to that. He says the protesters need to go back to the main camp so that they can try to talk it out.
Nearly all of the $6 million in emergency funding for law enforcement costs related to the Dakota Access Pipeline protests in North Dakota has been used up. The state's Emergency Commission approved the money in late September, but North Dakota Department of Emergency Services spokeswoman Cecily Fong says nearly $5.8 million has already been used. The department will ask for more money, though Fong didn't immediately know how much or when. As protesters get ready for a clash with police, they're getting support from some familiar faces. Civil rights activist Reverend Jesse Jackson and Hollywood star Mark Ruffalo, two people who are used to having the world's attention, albeit for very different reasons, joined the protest in hopes of shining more light on the issue. Jackson and Ruffalo traveled to the front lines where police have told protesters to remove their roadblock and go back to the main camp or be arrested.
Native Americans have been victims of protracted genocide and broken treaties and dishonored commitments. We must measure our character by how we treat Native Americans.
Put yourself in that place. These are all human beings, just like everyone out there watching. And their livelihood, their families, their sacred places, their cemeteries are all being desecrated and attacked.
Mark Ruffalo donated a pair of Navajo-made solar trailers to help power the camps.
A man has been arrested on terrorizing charges after an incident at a Fargo liquor store. 27-year-old Abdi M. Abdi is in jail, accused of threatening workers at the spirit shop with a knife when they approached him about shoplifting. Officers were called out to the liquor store near 13th Avenue South just before 1 a.m. yesterday. An employee says he was frightened for his life and pulled out his own personal knife to try and defend himself. No one was injured.
One man is in custody after he allegedly threatened others with a gun in South Fargo early this morning. Rajan Diggs is in the Cass County Jail on terrorizing charge. Police were called to the 300 block of 24th Street South. When officers arrived, they found Diggs outside and took him into custody at gunpoint. 4 others were involved, and 3 of them told officers they saw a gun during the dispute. Police searched the area and found a stainless revolver under a pile of leaves. It ended up being a CO2 pellet gun.
Those who live or drive near Moorhead's Industrial Park may have spotted a large police presence in the area this morning. Officers were searching for a driver who ran off after a slow car chase through town. It started early, around 5 a.m. Police say the individual has not yet been captured. No description has been given.
It's not just hunters looking out for deer this time of year. It's also a peak time for deer vehicle collisions. Game and fish biologist Doug Lear says deer are more active this time of year, especially during dawn and dusk. You might see deer near the roadways through harvest because the equipment is pushing deer back and forth between fields. And if you see one deer, there's a pretty good chance there's going to be another one coming behind it. Lear says understanding wildlife behavior can help you avoid hitting them. So rather than swerving, your best option is to hit the brakes and honk your horn. And although hitting a deer can be dangerous, experts say it's better than swerving into oncoming traffic or rolling your vehicle.
Next Monday, kids will be hunting to land a solid share of Halloween treats. Later on Valley News Live at 6, some healthy options for those ghosts and goblins out there.
I've heard from many that all of these clouds are essentially for the birds. Looks like they'll stick around for just a little while. Speaking of birds, one visited our tower cam again today. We'll have details on some sunshine in your forecast coming up right after this.
You're watching Valley News Live on TV, online, and on the go. Always on, wherever you are, whenever you need to know. Valley News Live.